What's that one vehicle? That one vehicle that when it appears, you can be in the most awesome literal assault mech or heavy mech. That one vehicle that when it appears, when it finally reveals itself, it's got you worried. For me, that's the SRM carrier. That vehicle, the first time you see that record sheet, you think it's a mistake. The number of missiles that it can put down makes it a devastating, just absolutely devastating ambush vehicle. If it can get that first shot off in engagement, you're in a lot of hurt. You're in a lot of trouble. If you don't take it out immediately and it can put out that second round of shooting, all but, say, assault mechs are just done on there. So that got me wondering, in Battletech, we see certain extremes. We see this idea of literally a tactic idea on the table. Long-range missiles. So based on the appropriate tonnage, how many long-range missiles or how many X, Y, Z can we put and mount on that chassis? We see that with mechs also, like the longbow. But that has me wondering, looking at the inner sphere vehicles, and usually with vehicles, the general idea is the battle value buy-in is much, much less compared to what you'd get for a mech on there. Look at the Shrek PPC carrier. You've got 3 PPCs blasting away every turn. Compare that in battle value and turn-by-turn sustainability for fire with an awesome mech on there. The difference in battle value. But the idea with vehicles, mobility, potentially less armor, motive hits, different criticals that can really, really cripple it. Obviously, a mech is superior, but you pay for it. But there's certain ideas that you don't see as much. And what I wanted to follow up in this podcast and kind of put out there, SRM, multiple SRM packs on vehicles. Spread across the entire spectrum of vehicles, you don't tend to see them that much. There's a few hover variants that have them. That makes sense because of the extreme speed. The challenge, I think, in navigating short-range missile packs on vehicles is the motive hits, the motive question. It takes longer for a vehicle to make it across the table. And immediately, once they start taking some concentrated fires, they're going to start to grind down, especially if they're wheeled vehicles. Now, we could get into a debate, the battle value and creation that you save a wheeled vehicle versus a tracked vehicle. Some would say that wheeled vehicles are absolutely not worth it on that perspective, but that gets into creation a little bit. To mount short-range missiles on any type of vehicle chassis, I think it's too risky. So this leads to the SRM carrier where, look, we're going to take the risk. We're going to go all in. We're going to go all in, and we're going to have a vehicle that's a very, very, very specific, a very, very focused role. An ambusher, just a really brutal city fighter on there, pushing that out. Other weapons mounted on vehicles, less of a chance on there. If you get immobilized or you get damaged on the way in, at least you have some range. At least you have a turret. An example of that where it does work, the Demolisher tank. 2 AC-20s, okay, short range there, but it has the armor and it has the turret to stay in the battle with that. But even there, it's a lot of armor bubbles, very heavy tank. Even there, and I exclusively play Demolishers whenever I can. I have noticed in playing them, I need to be very tactical and aggressive, as in I need to get these things in place very, very quickly because they're going to start taking motive hits and start getting chewed up almost to the point where I'm forcing my opponent based on the terrain and based on the mission parameters to come into the range of my Demolishers. But the SRM carrier just does not have the armor for that at all. And it is an expensive piece of battle value hardware on there. I think that's why we don't see them as much. Where we do see them a little bit more, but it's not the main. Usually it's SRM 4-packs, maybe 1 or 2. We see these on hover vehicles because they can at least, even though they have a lot less armor, they can at least stack up mad modifiers for movement, and they have the speed and mobility that they can get rear armor or side armor or vulnerable points, whether they're attacking a vehicle or they're attacking a mech. What are some good dedicated SRM vehicles to look at and to explore.